according to the previous video, you've learned how to move, rotate, and scale your object, and that is all good and fine. It's kind of like the Roblox studio, where basically you can only kind of stretch your object, like stretching it and making it like these type of shapes. But the thing with that is you can't really make details within these models. You can only just stretch them. I mean, you could make details, but you're gonna have to put a lot of cubes together and make details like that. But that's too time consuming. And there are some details you can't actually make. You can't, like for example, you can't really change the shape of this. Like you can make it like longer and stretch it, but you cannot actually physically change the shape. I'll show you an example. So if we go to edit mode, we can change the shape like this. This is impossible to do in object mode. Look at that. It is impossible to do in object mode. So today we are going to be just exploring edit mode. Okay, and what these things do. I'm not going to be going through every single one, because you won't need to use every single one. Like, I haven't used a lot of these. Like, I don't even know what this thing is. But yeah, so in order to get into edit mode, like a lot of people will select like these things and they're like, where's edit mode? Where's edit mode? They can't find it. You have to select the object or multiple objects that you want to edit. For example, you want to, look, you have two objects. You can edit both of them by just selecting them. Go to edit mode, you can edit both of them. If you just want to edit one object, you can just click on one and then switch to edit mode. And then now you can edit this object. In edit mode, there's like 3 types of selection you can do. One is point select, that's where you only select a vertex, a corner of your object, or you can select like a line of your object. They call it edge. Yeah, so you select, think of table edge, basically. Your table, there's like an edge, you can select that. And then there's the face select. You can select the entire face. Depends on what you want to do. So switch accordingly, okay? Just whatever, yeah. So there's also the same tools that object mode has. Look, same tools over here. These tools does the exact same thing in object mode and in what's that called? Edit mode. For example, this one. Scaling. You know, you can scale both of them in. Like, except the thing is that you're not moving the entire object. You're not like selecting the entire object and then scaling them like this. Like this. You're not moving the entire object. You're moving a part of the object. Or like, you press the move thing. You're moving a part of the object. You're not moving the entire object. That's why you can actually edit the object in more specific ways. It's like because sometimes you can't really do that in object mode. So yeah, so these tools you already know. Okay, if you like, I haven't really talked about this tool, but this tool is basically a combination of these 3. It's all 3 combined. Okay, you don't have to worry about it because I never use it. You just select these 3 and then you don't use this. This is very confusing to use because, you know, you can mess up pretty quickly. You don't know which, like, I mean, you could use this, but sometimes to be precise with things, you don't know which one you're using with this. So yeah, just stick with these 3, and then you know what this does, and this is just selecting things. So you don't have to even click on that. So, or you can learn about that in the future. It's not that important for right now. But the thing you'll use the most will be like extruding. Like usually you wanna add a part, you just do that, and then click on this button and just extrude. You can just like growing. Like I use it so much that, you know, I just usually just click E, and then you can extrude. One second, I think this thing is blocking my. There you go. So you can just click E to extrude. E, and this one you also use a lot. Like you can kind of shrink it a little bit, and then extrude again, and then you can make like a tower thing. Like this tool does exactly what it shows on its face. Okay, like a lot of you actually might come to an error like this one. Okay, so you have like so you kind of scaled your model in the object mode, and then you go to edit mode, and you're trying to like extrude. Not extrude, but like insert the face. Like use this tool right here. You're trying to use this tool, and then when you're using it, you're like, what the heck? I want it to be like square, like exactly, not like this stretchy thing. What this thing is that you need to go to object mode and press Control A, to press and then press the scale thing. Actually, no, you have to go back. So how to fix this? Basically, you just have to press Control A in object mode. In object mode, press Control A and then press the scale, and then go back to edit mode, and you can do that extruding thing again, and then it's perfectly like the same all around. So that's how you fix that. But it's basically you know, when you're scaling them in object mode, there's like a ratio thing. They record your ratio. It's like this ratio is off, and they will like insert a face according to that ratio. So if you have a perfect square, that's 1 times 1 times 1, right? It's a perfect ratio. And then when you're extruding the faces, inserting the faces, it will do it perfectly as a square. But you know, once you stretch it in edit mode, in object mode, the ratio gets changed, and your extrusion ratio also gets changed, and then that's why it's so weird, you know, when you're trying to insert a face. Also, this that does not get affected when you're editing it in edit mode. For example, you press all, so A for selecting all of it, and then you make it like this, and then you try to extrude it again. It stays the same. It's the ratio only gets affected in edit mode. It does not, in object mode. It does not get affected in edit mode. It won't really affect you too much. Just remember, like, if you're inserting the faces, and it's like all messy and the ratio is all off, just go to object mode, press Control A, and then press scale, and then go back to edit mode, and then it should be all fine. So this is extrude. Just press E for extrude, I for insert. Some people might actually ask, like, you know, I want to extrude, and I want the top one to actually be larger. Like for noobs, they will just go back to object mode, and then they will just put another part here. But you can do all of that here, okay? So what you want to do is you want to press E for extrude, press S to scale it. But right now the thing is kind of off. I could just go here and control. Oh, my bad. Press Control A, not Control S. Control A, and then go here and extrude, and then press S. If it still has this problem, then just scale it. You know, just use the scaling thing and like scale it this way. And then, you know, you can extrude again. And this part is like larger than this part. So you can press E. You don't have to click anywhere. If you click anywhere, it gets stuck there like that. So you press E, and you click, it gets stuck. But if you press E, you don't click anywhere, it doesn't get stuck. And you press S to scale it, so that's bigger. You can also make it smaller, but you can just use the insert button. You can just press I if you want. Yeah, press E. You can press I here, and then you can extrude it out, and you can make some weird buildings, maybe for your Roblox game, or like whatever you want. It's very handy. So just play around with the E and I. E for extrude, I for insert. Insert faces. Yeah, just remember that. Those are like the main things. And then there's this button thing, bevel. Bevel, usually you want to just use it for beveling edges, but you can also use it for beveling like entire faces. What it does is that it cuts the corners of the object. What I usually do, I just press wherever I want to cut its corner, and I press Control B, and then it cuts its corner. And if you want more of it, like you don't want just one slice, you want it to be more smooth, just use your middle mouse button, don't click on it, scroll on it upwards, scroll like upwards, and then like if you scroll upwards, it adds more faces to this angle. If you move your mouse around, it makes it like this. Like the closer it is, like the smaller, and then you make it far away, and then it's like it gets bigger, right? And then if you scroll your mouse up, it adds more faces. If you scroll it down, it decreases the amount of faces. And then if you're happy with it, you can just click, and then there. So we've learned these 3 tools. One is extrude, one is insert, one is bevel. You don't have to use the bevel, just use Control B. Like, you know, Control and then bevel. Bevel is just cutting the corners. Just think of that. It's like, just try doing a lot of bevel. Just press Control B, and then like Control B and stuff like that. Every single time you want a corner to be smoother, just go to that corner and press Control B. And then there's like this tool, the loop cut. A window, for example. I want a window here, and I want to just extrude like this part, and then leave the rest not extruded, like this. Oops. Like I just want like this certain part to get extruded, like this. I'll cut this side, I'll cut this side, and then I can extrude this part. Or else I'm stuck with extruding the whole part. It's like you want to be like very specific, like it's like cutting the whole thing so you can edit those places. So that's the loop cut. You can also change. A lot of people use this to make like swords and katanas and things like that. So they'll do a loop cut, and then they'll go to the side, and then they'll go to this view, this wireframe view. But you don't have to worry about that. And then they will like change this, and then they'll usually turn on this thing over here. This thing just makes everything like see-through, like you can see through the object. Like this thing, just think of it as see-through, X-ray thing. And then yeah, they can move the object like this, so the entire thing is like that. They usually use it to manipulate like swords and things like that. So yeah, so these 4 tools are used like a lot. And then there's the knife tool. For example, you want a star to be here, but you can't just use this tool to make you a star. So you can just do that. Press enter. Okay, there's that thing cut out, and then you press face select. You want this entire face to extrude it, and then there you have a star. Okay. And then there's not really much other tools. There's like, you don't have to worry about this. This is for retopologizing when you're making like high poly models and you're retopologizing. Use this. And then it's this. So you've learned all of these, all 5 of these, what they do. And then now you want to learn, now it's this thing. After you know all these tools, like all these 5 plus this, you basically, that's what we use 90% of the time. 90 or 95% of the time. When you're making like low poly models, you use those all the time. Even mid poly models, like every model I use, I rarely use any of these ones. Even though I know what they do, but I don't use them. So, you know, So yeah, this spin tool is also pretty useful, especially for making like cup handles. But let me show you what they do. Okay. This and the cursor are used together. You have to use them together. So, for example, I want to kind of move this. I want it to curve upwards. Make a curve. I'll go to negative x-axis. I'll put my cursor to the turning point of this face, and then I'll go here. It has a few selection. I don't want to be rotating this way. I want to be rotating the x-axis, and I can choose how many steps. Like every step is like a chunk of face. Like that. Like I can make a vent. It's pretty useful when you're making like things kind of curve. So what you see here is that when I use this pie looking modifier thing, not modifier, I mean tool, it spins, it adds to the object, and then it curves around the cursor. Curves around this object, basically. And it has 12 steps. You can make it smaller, like not 12 steps, like 11 steps or something, but if you count this, it's 12. If you want to make it low poly, even more low poly, you can just decrease the amount of steps. Or you can go here, since it has this thing, to spin. You don't click anywhere else, and then you have this, like you do it right after. You can just decrease the amount of steps like that, or increase the amount of steps to make it more detailed. I can show you another example. Okay, I'll just put the cursor, go to the negative x-axis. I want this thing to come around like this. Pie, put this is the face I want to extrude and make it like that. And then I just press this button, and then there, a perfect S. Look how cool that is. You can do it for x-axis, you can also do y-axis, for example y. Except it's kind of weird. I mean, you could always remember to press Ctrl Z twice, because you know, if you only did this and then you press Ctrl Z, there's gonna be like multiple faces. Oh, actually no, never mind. What I meant was, you know, when you're doing this, you know, you do a circle and then you press the right click, it goes back, but in reality there's like 1,000 faces like hiding in here, which will lag your game. So always press like, make sure you press Ctrl Z and stuff. So those are the main tools. This are the main tools. With these ones which we already learned in the last video. So after you know these 6 tools, practice with them. Practice making a skyscraper with vent, and then make stars. And then this is intermediate. Actually no, this can get, after learning this can get you like better commissions than last time. Like you can make buildings, like all kind of buildings. You can make shops that are actually looking pretty decent. But I haven't taught you how to texture yet, which I will be teaching in the upcoming video probably. I'll actually be teaching, I think I'll be teaching the modifiers next. But those are the 5 tools. Now after if you know how to use those 5 tools, and you know these, you're very decent with edit mode. And then sometimes you use this X-ray to see through an object. It comes in handy as well sometimes. I mean, I use it a lot as well for references. And then these views over here, they're just like, you know, you can just kind of look at the picture and you can understand. This is X-ray, so you can see right through it as well. Okay, this one too. This one is not X-ray, but this one's just like for your computer to run fast. It doesn't have any colors. This one has light and colors, but the light is artificial. The light is not your scene. It's not the real light. They're just placeholder lights. It's like an automatic light to see your texture. So right now I don't have any textures. When you have textures, you can only see them in these 2 viewport shaders, and this one is the real light thing. So look, I have a light here. Go to object mode. I have a light here. If I move this around, it affects this. But if I go here, I move this around, it doesn't affect this. But you'll see the textures and stuff like that. But in today's lesson, basically, you just have to understand these 6 tools, and then you're done. You're good. Next, I'll teach you some common modifiers, and then you'll be good at making a lot of things. Like, you can make a tank if you want, basically. You just have to practice a lot. Also, if you want to make your model like more visible, like right now, it's kind of like you can't really see the edges. You go here, and then you turn on cavity, and then you can see your model more clearly. I would suggest you turn it on all the time. It looks better anyways. Alright, thank you. Have a great day.